Alright, the hypest characters in Super Smash Bros. This is the second video in a two-part video series, so I highly recommend watching part 1 before this one, or you might not even know what this video is about. Before we begin, I want to quickly go over some small mistakes I made in part 1 that were pointed out to me by people in the comments. Bear in mind, these mistakes didn't impact where I placed any of the characters in the ranking, but I thought I'd address them anyway. Firstly, I said that Fighters Pass 2 was announced alongside riled. While this was true, I forgot that new DLC characters in general were announced in a Nintendo Direct on September 4th, 2019. With that being said, the 5th slot of Fighters Pass 1 was originally planned to be the final DLC character, so people still expected the final character of Fighters Pass 1 to be someone crazy, which it wasn't. Secondly, I said Robin was the first customizable Fire Emblem protagonist. This is incorrect. Chris was the first playable customizable character, appearing in the Japanese exclusive DS game Fire Emblem New Mystery of the Emblem. Finally, I erroneously said that Peach's first appearance in an action game was Super Smash Bros. Melee. Of course, this is entirely untrue, as she was playable all the way back in Super Mario Bros. 2 for the NES. Funnily enough, this isn't the first time I've made this mistake, and I'm sure it won't be the last. There's one final thing that I want to address about part 1 before we get started. So many people commented saying that Corrin was way too high, and that a lot of people were very upset when Corrin was announced, and were way more excited for Robin and even riled. To be totally honest, I misremembered the events and just how little people cared for Corrin. So I'm adjusting their position to numbers 75, putting them between riled and Mr. Game & Watch, which means the bottom 42 now looks like so. But with that out of the way, let's begin this video with the 42nd hypest character to appear as a fighter in Super Smash Bros. The Donkey Kong Country games are pretty much the most important games of the Donkey Kong franchise. Not only did they give DK the reboot treatment that he deserved, but they also introduced a ton of new lovable Kongs. It's funny to think that Donkey Kong himself is only playable in one of the 3 games in the trilogy, whereas you can play as Diddy Kong in 2. And let's be honest, most of us preferred Diddy to Donkey in the original anyway. Not just for his speed, but his peppy personality, which transferred wonderfully into Smash Bros. After Smash 4's official reveal, Rosalina and Luma were the first new fighters to be revealed. Not an earth-shattering pick, but a welcome one. Rosalina was one of the most popular new Mario characters in a long time when she first showed up in Super Mario Galaxy. She made her way into a bunch of spin-offs after that, but the culmination was her hidden playable role in Super Mario 3D World. People loved her, and putting her into Smash seemed like a no-brainer. Not only did they put her in though, but Luma too, creating a new dynamic unlike any fighter we've seen before. Way different to Ice Climbers even. The excitement of a whole new kind of character brings with it its own special kind of hype indeed. So 4 years after he should have been in Smash, Chrom, one of the most popular Fire Emblem characters of all time, finally snuck his way into Smash Ultimate. He would have been higher on the list if he was playable in Smash 4, but better late than never, I guess. To be honest, I thought his inclusion as a part of Robin's final Smash in both games meant that they were going to skip over him entirely. But no, he's here in Ultimate. Echo Fighter or not, the fact that many people can finally play as their favourite Fire Emblem character from one of the most important entries in the series is pretty hype. The second fighter from Smash Bros. Ultimate's Fighters Pass 1 on this list is Terry Bogard. Do you know how many games Terry has been in before Smash Bros? Over 50. From Fatal Fury to the King of Fighters to Capcom vs SNK to a bunch of mobile Garo Mark of the Wolves is what I meant to say. This guy gets around. If you're into fighting games, you probably love him. He's Terry freaking Bogard. If you don't love him, then I have to ask you one question. Are you okay? To be fair, if you don't follow fighting games much, you may not have known who Terry was when he was announced for Smash. In terms of the video game industry at large, he's not nearly as recognisable as someone like Ryu, for example, but he just looks so damn cool that there's still some hype there even if you didn't know who he was. Incineroar lost hype points for following a precedent set by Greninja, but when Greninja showed up in Smash 4, it wasn't following the new starter Pokemon pattern, as the pattern was set by Greninja. But a newcomer from Pokemon was easily predicted. And Nintendo got lucky that the new Pokemon that they picked would go on to be one of the most popular Pokemon of all time. Although, when Greninja was announced on April 14th, 2014, its popularity wasn't quite as high as it is today. Ash didn't even have Greninja in the anime at that point. Still, Greninja's reveal came about 6 months after the release of Pokemon X and Y, which was enough time for the people who played that game to fall in love with it. I mean, it's not hard to see why though. It's a badass water and dark type ninja frog who can conjure water shurikens, a perfect pick for Smash. Star Fox on the SNES was a good game when it came out, but it didn't come close to the excellence of Star Fox 64. The Sony PlayStation had already seen the likes of Final Fantasy VII, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and Resident Evil. Star Fox 64 felt like Nintendo's answer to those, with its more mature plot and cinematic storytelling compared to other Nintendo games at the time. Fox McCloud was one of Nintendo's cooler characters and was one of the coolest characters in Smash 64. On the other hand, out of the 8 starting characters, Fox doesn't exactly bring the biggest pedigree to Smash when compared to most of the other characters. It's mainly the hype resonating from Star Fox 64 and the appeal of the character himself that puts Fox at spot 37. Showcasing Sheik before Zelda was probably the right call for Nintendo, as Sheik definitely would have generated more hype at the time than Zelda herself. And that's why Zelda isn't higher. Her hype was diffused by the focus on Sheik. But Princess Zelda finally being made playable is pretty damn hype, I'm not gonna lie. The series is called The Legend of Zelda, but she always takes a backseat to the main hero Link. Although, just the fact that she is in the title gives Zelda a certain allure that a character like Princess Peach, for example, doesn't quite have. Added to this, Zelda served a much more active role in Ocarina of Time, which released a few years prior to Melee, earning herself even more appeal. So finally making her playable in Melee was pretty darn hype indeed. Xenoblade Chronicles. If you haven't played a game from this series, you've more than likely heard just how good its games are. So, doesn't it seem really silly looking back on it that Operation Rainfall was a thing? Fans had to complain to get Nintendo to localize 3 then upcoming Wii RPGs, one of which was the original Xenoblade. At first, Nintendo weren't really feeling it. Then, they did localize it for Europe, but it didn't release in North America for over half a year? What on earth was going on at that time that caused this mess? Anyway, fast forward to 2014, Xenoblade Chronicles X is on the horizon, and Shulk is announced for Smash Bros. This is a massive win for JRPG fans. It was important enough to Nintendo that they gave it the recognition it deserves with Shulk in Smash. A hype comeback story for the ages, if there ever was one. One of the most memorable moments from Smash Bros history, for me, is the opening of the Brawl reveal trailer. Mario, Link, Pikachu and Kirby all run onto the screen looking like their Melee selves, when all of a sudden they transmogrify into less saturated, grittier versions of themselves. Except Kirby, who pretty much didn't change it all, which was kinda dumb. The thing is, the Kirby games match Kirby's design. They're simple, bright and happy, most of the time. The Kirby franchise definitely has its edgier side, and I think that's encapsulated in Meta Knight. As a result, Meta Knight was one of the best characters to choose as the first newcomer to show in this edgier Smash game, and he entered atop his awesome battleship no less. The reveal of Brawl was hype enough as it was, but Meta Knight, the brooding anti-hero of the Kirby universe, made it even more hype. Inkling was always going to be the first character to be announced for the Smash Bros game that would follow Smash 4. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Splatoon has become somewhat of a phenomenon in Japan, and is one of Nintendo's most successful new IPs in recent memory by a wide margin. Sure, I have said before that a lack of surprise does hamper a character's hype levels, like with Villager for example, but Inkling was a relatively new character when they were revealed for Smash. The first Splatoon was only a few years old, Splatoon 2 was less than a year old, and the hype for the franchise had stayed fresh. Inkling's hype bounced off of Splatoon's hype and landed right on the hype for a new Smash game. Speaking of which, it's hard to completely divorce the hype of Inkling's reveal from the basically perfect reveal of Smash Ultimate itself, but I won't let that cloud my judgment too much, otherwise Inkling could have ended up in the top 10. I've always thought of Smash Bros as more of a cool kids game compared to other multiplayer Nintendo games like Mario Kart or Mario Party, and so the cool kids who are playing are more likely to gravitate towards the more badass looking characters. Not your Yoshis or your Nesses, but your Foxes and especially your Samuses. Samus has so much going for her as a silent, serious bounty hunter sporting a robust suit of armor with a gun on. Of course, that's just surface level. The Metroid series has never seen the same level of mainstream success as Mario or Zelda, but hardcore fans absolutely love it, and so would have a deep affection towards Samus and might want to pick her over anyone else in Smash 64. Simply put, Samus is just a generally hyped Nintendo character. So stick her in Smash and you've got some easy hype. Like I said, Smash Bros is a game for the cool kids. And we all know that Falco is the coolest member of Team Star Fox. Come on, we all know it's true. Don't pretend that it's Slippy. Don't even utter the notion that it's Rob64. It's Falco. Whether you found his snarky personality endearing or not, there was something to like about Falco. Clone or otherwise, unlocking a cooler version of Fox was an awesome moment in Melee. And if you found Falco obnoxious, at least you now had your chance to put him in his place through hand-to-hand combat. Do you remember how you reacted when you first experienced Marth's unlock fight? Oh cool, a character from Fire Emblem, is how a Japanese person may have reacted. But for me, a phrase that comes to mind is, who the hell is this guy? Not in a way that turned me off of the character, but in a way that I wanted to find out more about him. He had this appeal that made me want to seek out this mysterious Nintendo franchise that I had missed. Nintendo knew that this was how a lot of us felt, as they even recreated this feeling in the Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light Switch trailer. The first character from a long-running Nintendo series is pretty hype, but for us in the West, his hype was in his mystery. It's been said that Marth and Roy were originally planned to be taken out of the Western release of Melee. Now, I'm not entirely sure if this is actually true or not, but what if they were taken out? Would they have ever localized the Fire Emblem series? It's a scary thought. It may seem strange to some people that I think that an alternate form of a character that we already had is more hype than the original, but hear me out. By 2006, the Metroid series had grown in popularity thanks to the Game Boy Advance entries and the Metroid Prime sub-series on the GameCube. Metroid Prime 3 was also due to be released shortly as a launch window Wii title. More people were aware of the magnificent character Samus Aran during this time than they were back in the days of Smash 64. And so getting a new form of this beloved character was a hype moment, especially the way in which she was revealed. Then there's the implications of the removal of her armor on how she could play in Smash. She could be a less sluggish, more nimble character than Samus proper, and we don't get to use Samus's more natural abilities often in the Metroid games. Plus, they've given her this energy whip thingy. Now that's hype. Whether you'd played F-Zero, F-Zero X, both, or neither, I don't think your hype levels would have been that different for Captain Falcon in Smash. When you unlock Ness, you might think, who is this kid? He looks stupid. But when you unlock Captain Falcon, there's only one word that comes to mind. Yes! This guy is awesome. He's got the moves. He's got the Falcon Punch, he's got the Falcon Kick. Smash Bros has done so much for Captain Falcon's personality that he's basically a Smash Bros character, not an F-Zero character. And he is one hype Smash Bros character. Oh look, it's already time once again to praise Star Fox 64. Have I mentioned how good that game is yet? Anyway, that game introduced us to Fox's rival Wolf. I argued that Falco was cooler than Fox, and dare I say that Wolf is even cooler than Falco. With other classic Smash villains like Bowser, Ganondorf and King Dedede already being in, there was hype for more villains in Smash. Give us Ridley, give us King K. Rool, give us Wolf. Thankfully, Rool gave us one of these at least. Indeed, it wasn't long before we found that, just like Falco, Wolf's moveset was fairly similar to Fox's. But Fox and Falco are two of the most popular characters in Melee competitively, thanks to the way they play. So the idea of getting a similar character but with their own unique variations was not a bad one. Super Smash Bros. For 3DS and Wii U were co-developed by Bandai Namco, so any notion that Pac-Man wasn't going to be included in the game's roster was just foolish. For the longest time, he was the video game character, and still is to some degree. His announcement wasn't super hype because it was painfully obvious that he was going to be there. If we didn't know the games were developed by Bandai Namco, then yeah, it would have been more hype. But even still, it's freaking Pac-Man. What more do you want me to say? He's an absolute gaming icon and thoroughly deserves a place in Smash Bros, no matter which company worked on the game. Mario is not a violent man. If we ignore the fact that he literally kills hundreds of turtles and nutmen in his own series, he's a generally pleasant guy to be around who just wants everyone to be happy. He's the kind of guy who would invite his worst enemy to a round of golf. That's who we're talking about here. But when Smash Bros came along, he changed. This is a different guy entirely. He's beating up his friends and colleagues. And for what? Fun? Mario, you're sick. You see, this is why Mario and Smash is so hype. Mario games are generally the most family-friendly games around. You buy your kid an N64, you get him a game with Mario on the front cover, you're generally safe. But think twice about buying that kid Smash Bros because Mario has gone rogue. Mario in a fighting game. Did you think you'd ever see the day? There seems to be an obvious queue for classic third-party NES action heroes who make it into Smash Bros. The first one in line was Mega Man, the second in line was Simon Belmont. Third is of course Ryu Hayabusa, expect him shortly. After that, I don't know, the queue gets a bit foggy. Bill and Lance from Contra maybe? Or Brad Spencer from Bionic Commando? Or perhaps Jason and Sophia from Blaster Master? Now that would be awesome. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Simon Belmont. As he was next in line after Mega Man, a lot of people wanted him in, and it was great that he got in for Castlevania fans, retro game fans, or just fans of the history of video games in general. I'd love to place him higher, but hype for the Castlevania series wasn't very high in 2018, due to the fact that Konami barely wanted to acknowledge its existence. Or maybe that makes Simon more hype, as Castlevania fans had been desperate for anything. I'm not quite sure, but I think 24 is a good spot for him. Like I said with Young Link, coming off of Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, anything Zelda related shortly after that time was major hype. So the King of Evil himself making it into Smash, ain't that some hype? Especially after seeing Bowser as a starting character in Melee. If the most famous Nintendo villain could make it in, then surely including the second most famous one wasn't too much to ask for. And then we got to face off against Ganondorf in Event Match 29 with Link and Zelda. It was an epic moment. But Ganondorf's appearance was a little bit deflating after you saw that his moveset was pretty much a carbon copy of Captain Falcon's. If that wasn't the case, he definitely would have been higher. But just the fact that we got to play as this iconic villain at all was still hype. Speaking of iconic video game villains, does it get more iconic than King Koopa himself? He's a big, threatening, powerful menace in his home series. Being able to finally take control of this walking fortress for the first time in an action game was such a treat indeed. His design in Smash Bros looks even more menacing than it does in the Mario games. He was announced alongside Peach, which, yeah, it's cool that we get to play as her too, but Bowser? There's the real hype. Following the release of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, and even a while before that, Lucario was everywhere. It was the popular Pokemon of the time. Unlike Greninja at the time of Smash 4, Lucario had ample opportunity to make its mark on the Pokemon franchise. Not just from the games, but the movies as well. At the time, Lucario was the only non-legendary / mythical Pokemon to be the main focus of a Pokemon movie. Lucario can use the power of Aura, and it can talk. On top of that, it has a really appealing design. Like I said, it was the Pokemon of the time. Heavily pushed by the Pokemon Company, not that the fans were complaining. They especially weren't complaining when Lucario was included in Smash Bros. Brawl. To be honest, Lucario could end up being the last Pokemon put in Smash that isn't a legendary or starter. Having said that, I bet as soon as this video comes out, Toxtricity will be announced to Fighters Pass 2. What? They put a bog standard piranha plant in Smash? Are you kidding me? If you were one of the people that said this when the plant was announced, then you were especially hyped for this character. Don't tell me otherwise, because you'd just be lying to yourself. It was one of the most bizarre moments in Smash Bros history. Literally no one saw this character coming. It made absolutely no sense. And that's what's so hype about it. Piranha Plant's reveal sent a message. Any video game character can get into Smash. It doesn't matter how big or small you are, you have a chance. Waddle Dee, your invitation will arrive any day now. The Zelda series at the time of Melee was hype. I think I've said that enough times at this point. And who is the hypest character in Ocarina of Time? That's right, the Running Man, but Sheik is a close second. The fact that Sheik was given the spotlight during the Melee reveal over Zelda tells you about her popularity. Not only that, but she appeared fast, agile. She is basically a ninja. She was the only ninja-like character at the time. Regardless of her popularity in her home series, when looking at the rest of the Melee roster, her uniqueness in this regard was quite high. Kirby, the lovable pink puffball. Is there anything more hype than that? Well, obviously, because I put Jigglypuff at 69, so there's gotta be more to Kirby. Kirby is unique in that he's the only character on this list that I gave significant weight to his moveset possibility when I considered Kirby's hype level. You can't think about Kirby in a fighting game without thinking about his most important ability, the copy ability. Being able to swallow his enemies and snatch their moves is one of the best things about Kirby. The possibilities this had in Smash were incredible. He could use Mario's fireballs, Link's boomerang, Fox's blaster, and any future character that would be added to Smash would mean a new ability for Kirby and a new outfit. It's still a major aspect of character reveals to this day. That is one hype character. Dragon Quest, the only video games in Japan that are released on Saturdays because the police complained that too many kids were skipping school to play the newest games on release date. The video game landscape would be a very different place without Dragon Quest. It is the JRPG franchise. If that doesn't say that Hero deserves his spot in Smash Bros, I don't know what will. Not only did we get the hero from Dragon Quest XI, but also 3, 4 and 8. What a celebration. By all accounts, Hero should probably be even higher on this list. So why isn't he? Of course, there's the issue with Dragon Quest being not as popular overseas as it is in Japan. But what dropped the hype more was the timing. Do you remember how hard Nintendo were pushing Dragon Quest XI on Switch? Seriously, they had something to say about this game in like every direct for the longest time. They were pushing the crap out of Dragon Quest XI's Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition for the Nintendo Switch. In a somewhat forceful and annoying way. They knew how good it was and they just really wanted you to buy it. At the time, it kind of felt like that was the reason Hero was getting released in Smash. Did the Luminary in Smash convince you to buy Dragon Quest XI? Because I gotta say, it did for me, and it's a hell of a game. I'm now a Dragon Quest fan for life. The hype is real. You guys better buy Dragon Quest XII. As a fighting game, and we all agree that Smash Bros is a fighting game, right? There was a surprising lack of fighting game representation, and what better way to represent that genre than with the fighting game character himself, Ryu of Street Fighter fame. Ryu was one of the first newcomers to be released as Smash DLC, and what a way to start it with a third-party character. DLC characters typically tend to be third-party characters. They tend to drum up more hype than the Nintendo ones, and Ryu achieved just that. As far as third-party DLC characters are concerned though, Ryu's reveal wasn't the hypest of the bunch. That being said, Street Fighter II contributed an enormous amount to the fighting game genre. Many fighting games today are just echo fighters of Street Fighter II when you think about it, and for that, Ryu has more than earned his place in Smash. Ryu may have been DLC for Smash 4, but Capcom entered the ring with the one and only Mega Man. Everyone has their favourite third-party characters that they want to make it into Smash. For me, it's Rayman, Crash Bandicoot and Master Chief. For you, it may be Dante, Sora, and Josh Carter or some other obscure character. But sometimes there's a third-party character where it just feels like it's their time. We all somehow collectively know this. It feels right. For Brawl it was Sonic, for Smash 4 it was Mega Man, and Nintendo wasted no time in revealing him to us, in the very same announcement trailer as the game. Back on the NES, Mega Man's games may not have sold as well as some of Nintendo's finest, but you can't argue with the quality. Plus, he just fits in so well with the rest of the cast. Even if he's a Capcom character, he oozes that Nintendo vibe. Just a perfect fit for Smash Bros. Villains are often more hyped than heroes when it comes to Smash Bros characters. They often come one or several games later than the heroes, so we begin eagerly anticipating them. King K. Rool is one that we longed for. He definitely isn't as popular as Bowser or Ganondorf, and perhaps that's likely why we had to wait so long for him to show up. But the wait just made us want him even more. And he was never a surefire thing like some of the other villains, as outside of spin-offs, he hadn't appeared in a Donkey Kong game since 1999's Donkey Kong 64, skipping both Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze. Finally, on August 8th, 2018, this deranged crown-wearing, belly armor-donning crocodile made his long overdue return. His announcement was even more surprising, seeing as he was announced on the same day as Simon. Typically, each event only had one new fighter revealed, not counting Echo Fighters. But on that day, they decided to drop King K. Rool too, kind of overshadowing Simon's announcement a bit in the process. Not only is Pikachu the most well-known Pokemon of all time, Pikachu is simply one of the most famous characters of all time. And that's from today's perspective, where Pokemon is still big, but perhaps not the phenomenon it was within a few years of its release. I'm not going to ramble on about its popularity at the time, I'm sure you already know. But let me posit this. Captain Falcon is popular because of Smash Bros. Pikachu is popular because of Pokemon. I'm not going to claim that Smash Bros did much to boost Pikachu's popularity because it was already super popular. But putting Pikachu and by proxy the Pokemon franchise in Smash Bros, yeah, I could certainly see that boosting Smash Bros' popularity. I'm sure there were so many children that were introduced to video games thanks to Pokemon. They may have seen the cover of Smash 64 and wanted it because Pikachu was on the cover. There's a reason why Pikachu joined the Mario characters in the US commercial and not someone like Link or Kirby. Pokemon was hype. Therefore, Pikachu in Smash was very hype. Despite Pikachu's overwhelming popularity, I still think Link is the most hyped character in the original Smash 64. Link is a Smash crowd pleaser. There are certain characters that I think mesh well with the Smash audience. Characters from games that hardcore gamers are more likely to play. Characters like Samus come to mind. Link is definitely in a league above Samus though. The Zelda franchise manages to achieve mainstream success and popularity despite being a series more geared towards hardcore gamers. Added to that, Smash 64 was coming off of the insane hype of Ocarina of Time, which released around the same time. That makes Link a pretty damn hyped Smash Bros character. It's December 6th, 2018. Only one more sleep before we finally get our hands on the latest Smash Bros game. Some of us may have indulged in the 2018 Game Awards to pass the time. Perhaps our mind would wander to some of the new characters we'll be able to play as in hours' time. Inkling, Incineroar, Simon Belmont. We hadn't even had a chance to touch these new characters yet before Nintendo had us buzzing about the next new toy. Joker from Persona 5 was revealed to be the first DLC fighter in the Fighter's Pass. Now, Persona 5, an incredibly popular and well-loved JRPG that only recently released. Of course, that gives Joker a bunch of hype, but just the way this reveal occurred was masterful. Like I said, I don't think many people were even thinking about the possibility of a DLC announcement at that point, considering we had so much new stuff to look forward to with the game's release. Not only that, but the trailer was a complete curveball. Since then, a new character reveal is easily anticipated or is sometimes announced ahead of time. Sure, Pyra and Mithra's reveal threw us off with it seemingly being more Xenoblade 2 content, but it was nothing like Joker's reveal, one of the hypest reveals by far. And Joker's just an awesome character too. Most of the top 10 characters are hyped because of who they are, the circumstances surrounding their reveal, or just how mind-boggling it is that they're in Smash Bros. Pokemon Trainer is none of these. What Pokemon Trainer is just a really cool concept for a character. You look at the characters we've got to look forward to in Brawl and yeah, there's some great picks there, but none were as interesting from a gameplay standpoint as Pokemon Trainer. 3 characters in one that we get to switch between. Yes, they had done that with Sheik and Zelda in the past, but they felt like 2 completely separate characters rolled into one. With Pokemon Trainer, the characters shared damage, but had individual stamina meters, so it was required to switch them out. You would have to strategize around the strengths and weaknesses of the 3 Pokemon. Just the idea of having 3 different Pokemon in your arsenal and being able to switch between them on the fly sounded like a ton of fun. There had been nothing like it before. Squirtle, Ivysaur and Charizard made for great type variety too, on top of being very popular Pokemon. Sure, when Brawl came out, Pokemon Trainer didn't quite play as smoothly as we may have been picturing, but the gameplay potential this character had was huge. He was easily one of the hypest characters when he was announced, purely from a gameplay perspective. When Charizard split off in Smash 4, no matter how much we loved Charizard, it just wasn't the same. Bayonetta 2 was one of the biggest third-party Wii U exclusives. Nintendo were making such a big deal about it that some people might have mistaken it for a first-party game. They were funding it after all. But Bayonetta couldn't make it into Smash. There's no way. Her game is incredibly violent, Bayonetta herself is insanely profane, and she keeps getting naked all the damn time. She's too sexy for Smash, the fans would cry. Well, it turns out no one's too sexy for Smash, not even Bayonetta. There are a few characters in Smash history that open a floodgate, as it were, to a bunch of characters that we never thought could possibly get in. Bayonetta opened the mature floodgate. If she could get in, then there's no reason we can't see Doomguy, or maybe even a character from Senran Kagura. That's not the only reason that Bayonetta is hyped though. She's an awesome character from 2 awesome games. Now let's see some Bayonetta 3 already. There's an unfortunate trend among third-party characters in Smash in that it only seems that we get one per franchise. Obviously we have Ken as the exception, but he's an Echo Fighter, so it's not quite the same as a completely new, unique character. Not only did December 10th, 2020 give us a character to buck that trend, but it was freaking Sephiroth no less. A highly requested character in general and one of the most famous villains in video game history. Not only that, but this seemed kind of unlikely due to the poor Final Fantasy representation that Smash Ultimate received at launch compared to every other franchise. Cloud brought with him one stage, 2 songs, and no spirits. Sephiroth is a hype character on his own, but the fact that his inclusion could fix the Final Fantasy problem that Smash had before was extra hype. The hypest of the many Pokemon characters in Smash Bros is Mewtwo. Mewtwo is also the hypest unlockable character that wasn't revealed ahead of time. In Melee, unlocking every character was pretty tough. It was a long process. When the game came out, most people probably didn't know how to unlock every character or who those characters were. Working your way through Classic Mode, Adventure Mode, and the other side modes would net you most of the cast, but not everyone. Who were those lost characters? When someone tells you that you can unlock Mewtwo by playing 700 versus matches or leaving your GameCube on for 20 hours, that just sounds like a fake rumour. Not only because the unlock conditions are pretty stupid, but unlocking Mewtwo, a fan favourite Pokemon and not to mention the most powerful Pokemon, just sounds too good to be true. Side note, a girl in my school also told me she unlocked all the characters and the last of those was Pac-Man, so I didn't know what to believe. She probably thought Mr. Game & Watch was Pac-Man, but that's besides the point. Turns out Mewtwo was in the game. I imagine if you unlocked Mewtwo naturally from just playing a bunch of verses with your friends, then that unlock would have been one of your hypest Smash memories. One of the hypest Pokemon that you could only earn by believing some BS rumours. It's no wonder that people actually did throw themselves at Cruel Melee in a desperate attempt to unlock Sonic and Tails. How often does Sakurai say that a character is not going to get into Smash? For the longest time it was no characters who didn't originate in a video game, and no Ridley. He said on multiple occasions that for Ridley to be put into Smash, he would have to be shrunk down and wouldn't be able to fly freely. At that point, Ridley wouldn't be Ridley anymore, he claimed. This was much to the chagrin of many Smash fans who wanted Samus's arch nemesis in Smash. Eventually one day, Sakurai said, "Screw Attack It, we're putting Ridley in," went against everything he said before, and now Ridley is playable in Smash. So there you go, the impossible was made possible with Ridley in Smash Bros. You can't get more hype than that. Unless you're one of these last 5 characters, of course. Banjo and Kazooie, another pair of characters that could have easily been mistaken for Nintendo's own back on the Nintendo 64. I mean, Banjo's first ever appearance in the game was in Diddy Kong Racing. Does that not make him a Nintendo character? Apparently not. Banjo-Kazooie was one of the top 10 best-selling games on the N64. Had they been included in Smash 64, they would have been a very welcome inclusion and would have fit right in. Alas, it was not meant to be. They weren't in Melee either. After that, Microsoft bought Rare, and so it seemed like they'd missed their chance. People wanted these beloved characters in Smash from day one, but it just seemed like it wasn't to be. With more and more third-party characters entering the stage, their chances seemed to pick up a little, but they weren't like other third-party characters. The Banjo-Kazooie franchise was owned by Microsoft, one of Nintendo's competitors in the console space. It just didn't seem likely to happen, but the fans never gave up and their wish was granted. Sometimes, dreams do come true, no matter how unlikely. And I think that perfectly sums up Banjo and Kazooie's hype when they made it into Smash. Dreams do come true. Metal Gear, one of the most critically acclaimed gaming franchises of all time. Well, maybe not so much nowadays, but back in 2006 it was on top of the world. Twin Snakes had been released on GameCube and Ghost Babel was exclusive to Game Boy Color, but Metal Gear was mostly seen as a PlayStation franchise, especially with the then upcoming Metal Gear Solid 4 being one of the most anticipated PS3 exclusives. So to see that Snake was announced to join the Nintendo All-Stars fighting game was pretty crazy. But the most hype thing about Snake is that he was a pivotal floodgate opener, as he was the very first third-party character revealed for Smash Bros ever. It was a Nintendo only party until Snake crashed it, and it's such a great thing that he did. Perhaps if Kojima hadn't bugged Sakurai to include Snake, we wouldn't have ever seen Mega Man, Banjo and Kazooie, or Bayonetta in Smash. Nowadays, third-party characters tend to draw more hype than Nintendo's own, and it was no different back at the very beginning. Snake took the hype from an already hyped trailer and shot it into the stratosphere. But after the door was open to third-party characters, there was only one character that could make it there faster than anyone else: Sonic the Hedgehog. Was it an obvious pick after Snake was revealed? Perhaps. But was it hype? Abso-friggin-lutely. I remember shaking when I moved my mouse over the play button of the reveal trailer. It literally said above the video, "Sonic the Hedgehog joins the brawl," and I still had to watch the video to verify that it was true. This was a big deal. Back then, Sonic wasn't the meme he is today. This announcement did come in the wake of some pretty bad Sonic games, but there was still a ton of people that loved the character. And of course, there's the rivalry of Mario and Sonic to consider. A rivalry that very much existed in the real world during the Mega Drive and Super Nintendo days could finally be played out in a video game. It was a truly magical time. Okay, so now we're at the last two characters. Let's not pretend you don't know who they are. It's Cloud and Steve. They're two incredibly hyped characters. I constantly went back and forth on who should take the top spot. Could I have made it a tie? Sure, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make a firm decision. I'll talk about both of them before I reveal who eventually came out on top. Let's first discuss the character that was released first, Cloud. What is there to say about Cloud that hasn't already been said? It's Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII, the game that's hype manages to persist across time. A game that had fans clamouring on about a remake until Square Enix finally caved and made it. The Final Fantasy franchise has a ton of great entries with a bunch of lovable characters, and yet the one that remained in the public eye and trumped all was Final Fantasy VII. Cloud is just a super popular character, always climbing near the top of GameFAQs' character battle contests, often butting heads with Link. Like Snake, Cloud also felt like a PlayStation All-Star, but even PlayStation All-Stars couldn't get him. Like Banjo and Kazooie, Cloud was an unlikely dream pick. Well, Smash Bros makes dreams come true. Apart from Final Fantasy haters, almost everyone was hyped for Cloud. I'm gonna level with you, I have barely touched Minecraft. I think I've played it once or twice for around an hour at a time, but here's the thing, when a character reveal excites me, I usually have a big grin on my face and say that character's name when I realise who it is. It's Banjo, it's Sephiroth, etc. But when Steve broke through the blocks, I shouted at a pretty high volume, "Oh my god, those madmen, they actually went and did it." People wanted Steve, sure, but did anyone actually truly believe he was going to get in? Maybe some of you, but I bet most of you didn't. You remember that one alleged Fighters Pass 1 leak? It had Erdrick from Dragon Quest, which seemed feasible. Ryu Hayabusa, yep, I could see that. Doom Guy, could be true, could be true. Minecraft Steve, nope, now you've lost me. But they actually did it. Steve is in Smash. When it comes to Smash Bros, I feel like most franchises rise up to Smash's level when they are included. Smash pulls Xenoblade up to its level. Smash pulls Fatal Fury up to its level. Smash pulls Persona up to its level. They should feel honoured to be in Smash. There are only a few franchises where it's the other way around, that step down to Smash's level. Mario and Pokemon definitely. Probably Animal Crossing, maybe Final Fantasy, maybe Zelda, but absolutely Minecraft. It's a phenomenon. It's literally the best selling game of all time by a country mile. Smash should feel honoured at Steve's presence. Suffice to say, his reveal would have made millions of people incredibly happy, and I don't doubt that it helped bump the sales of Smash Ultimate a bit too. So who is our number one? In my opinion, Cloud has two things going for him over Steve. One is that he's a character that people like more for the actual character. He has more personality in a single spike of his hair than Steve has in all of his pixels combined. Cloud also has less haters than Steve. People hated on Steve just because of the popularity of Minecraft. But when something is that popular, of course it's going to have more haters. And when all is said and done, I've got to give first place to Steve. Steve's reveal crashed Twitter. I don't think there will ever be another character with that kind of power. So there you go, there's my attempt to rank all 84 Smash characters by hype on an objective level. Subjectively, I was most hyped for Cloud, of course. Let me know who you were personally most hyped for. Was it Wii Fit Trainer? If so, good for you. Anyway, have fun playing video games.